or the dishwasher. But hitting somebody or being abusive, because you don't have to be smacked on to abuse somebody. You can verbally abuse somebody. You can mentally abuse somebody. In fact, I'd rather have somebody hit me than verbally or mentally abuse me, because there's nothing worse than words. Just saying. Another reason why we do the stuff that we do, it's crazy, it's going to sound horrible, but we relish in the good moments that you have, because when you have a cruddy partner, somebody who doesn't treat you well, when the seas are calm and you relish in those brief moments of peace, you imagine that they've finally come to their senses and decided to appreciate you and love you as much as you love them. For sporadic and fleeting periods of time, when the waves of the storm stop relentlessly crashing down on your soul and you can just lie in their arms, you start to trust them completely again. Just in case you didn't hear it, I rolled my eyes. And yeah, I wrote that, but I rolled my eyes because I've been there. It's like, no. They wouldn't ever hurt you again, right? They'll change. They have changed, haven't they? Yes, but only until the next time they grow restless, fidgety, dissatisfied with steady pace, or anything within the life that you have or have together, or they just don't want anything that you have. So they've got to rock it until it's either an etch-a-sketch and you have to keep doing everything over again, or, because like I said, relationships are a 50-50. They can't be one-sided, single-sided. You can't save one person. They have to be able to save themselves, because you can't help yourself. I mean, you have to help yourself before you can help somebody else. And if you're already helpless and you're trying to improve somebody, the only person you can really improve is you, right? Right. So, would they hurt you again? Yeah, because they completely do it. Will they change? No. If you said yes, it's only until the next time that they do the stupid, horrible thing that they keep doing. But they briefly come to a rational understanding at some point that their life is a wreck. If they're lucky, they will. Not everybody will. And then I'll let you glue them back together, but only back to take that lovely giant sledgehammer to the moment that you've rested your eyes and smack your head off with it. That one moment that you think that you have a moment, Lucille comes at you right in your face. Slam. That's it. It's never pretty. I mean, and I'm not saying that it's ever. I mean, some people have awesome relationships, and all relationships are work. But if you are addicted to toxic relationships because you like the danger of it, you really need to be looking at your life. It's like, have I had some doozies? Oh yeah, I'm sure several of us could get together and write horrible dating or horrible tips on how to not deal with stuff like this. It's like, why I'm writing about it, why I'm talking about it on the radio. It's like, learn from my mistakes. How do you think I come up with this stuff? Not only research, but I've already walked it, realizing inwardly through meditation and much deliberation that when it's not going to work, it's not going to work. And that why risk the danger of yourself? Because I literally actually had a boyfriend at one point push me down a flight of stairs. Not kidding. And I thought, oh no, he was just drunk or whatever. It's like, I'm a musician. He was a musician in another band or whatever. And things were going, oh, he was just drunk or whatever. No, he was just a jerk. And the second time he actually hit me. And yeah, I had him arrested for hitting me. I mean, when he threw me down the stairs, I just went to my mother's after I got out of the hospital, and then went back to this dude And it was actually, I think, a few months after that, he hauled off and decked me. And I took all of my stuff and threw it into the back of my truck and motored off in the middle of the night, calling the police from the parking lot before I left because my face was bleeding and the side of my neck was bleeding. And that was one of the few last horrible relationships with that horrible that I had. I had one more after that, but that one took some time to reveal itself, unfortunately. But sometimes you just don't know. So I'm not saying don't have relationships. I'm saying be careful. Guard yourself. You don't have to walk into a dangerous situation because you're lonely. You don't have to stay in a dangerous situation because you don't want to be alone. You know, one of the best things that I ever did for myself, seriously, was to learn how to be alone. Seriously. Because if you can't be alone, you can't really be with anybody else. If you can't stand yourself and your own thoughts and anything else in the calm and quiet of your own apartment, how can you be with somebody else if you can't handle it? It's awesome to not have a codependent relationship of any kind. It's awesome to love somebody just to love them and not need them, to want them and not need them. Do you know what that means? That there's no danger in not wanting them or not needing them, but you just genuinely want them to be with you. Does that make sense? Because I don't need you to want me, but I want you to want me. Does that make sense? Cheap Trick had a thing, didn't they? They really did. So don't stand by and be in a dangerous situation just because it is good for you in some weird way. And the final on that one is our own self-destructiveness is one of the other reasons why we stick around. Like I said, it's kind of sadistic. So why else would we be with somebody who treats us like crud? It's like we're asking for it, right? By always accepting the latest apology if you're lucky. Turning a blind eye to the doubtful truths that this person could give less of a flying fig about you, right? This is obviously something broken inside of us that we're choosing to ignore when we do these things. And I'm not saying that you're a broken person. I'm saying that there's something inside you that makes you want to save somebody, and it's perfectly normal, but you can't save somebody who doesn't want to be saved, for the good or for the bad of it. And to avoid a dangerous situation, I mean, that's play with the devils that you know instead of the devils that you don't know. And going on to relationship dangers and things of that note, since we're all adults here, and I get questions about this constantly, and I will do another show, yes, I will, about the subject that I'm about to talk about, because it's up there with danger and my personal pet peeve, Christian Grey. The danger. People say that bondage, BDSM, is dangerous. Yes and no. BDSM is not dangerous if it's done correctly. However, reading a really poorly written book, and yeah, I want to get her on my show because she really makes me upset. And all the things and accoutrement that you can buy from said book, you can hurt somebody with that stuff. But when we're talking about danger and all that other stuff, I'm not going to talk about the stuff that you want me to talk about right now, because we will have a show on it, I promise. But I'm going to talk to Kate about how far I can go. Well, I already know how far I can go, but I'm not going to hit her with that right now. But we're talking about the dangers of that. So you don't want to do anything that's actually going to hurt you, hurt somebody else. Now, when you're talking about pain and having pain as pleasure, that's different. But causing somebody pain by accident by doing something dangerous that you know nothing about, please don't. Please don't do that. There's reasons why certain things are done and done the way they are done. And the reason why I say that, if you didn't catch my show on the other network, it is on my YouTube channel, and it is under parental lock. So you do have to actually use your actual name and password to access it, because I didn't want people under the age of 18 and not having to sign in to access that, even though I don't say anything blue at all or bad. It's just one of those things. But just to touch on it, staying out of the toxic relationship thing, and talking about BDSM, because people ask me and tell me how dangerous it is and why people are attracted to danger. And it's the thrill. It's the bottom line thrill of having certain things done to you, which I'm not going to list out for you because you have Google at your fingertips. So, like I said, use your parental lock on your PC or your phone, because like I said, I am not responsible for what you see on by Googling anything that comes out of my mouth. In fact, don't do it. In fact, unless you are not squeamish. But the calm and control factor of the dangers, because this sounds really strange. I know people are going to be like, what? But when you're talking about bondage and bondage and discipline, or just light BDSM or things like that, people ask if it's even normal to do stuff like that. And it's actually, if you were Sigmund Freud, no, you're a sicko. Back in his day, he'd think you were completely sick and twisted and had a lot of mommy issues if you did stuff like this. And there's still a lot of social stigma around it, which is why I like to talk about it, because there shouldn't be as much if you know more about it. But there's a lot of common assumptions and things that I'd like blasted out of the way. People that actually participate and BDSM, people are often listed as psychologically anxious or maladjusted, or they're acting out of a past history of abuses that they're attempting to compensate for certain adult difficulties. However, there's a lot of research that actually is available to suggest that these assumptions are definitely not true, and that more often than not, it's actually a lot more healthy than you would think. And on that, we do need to take our final break here. It is 10:43 here on Tripping the Void on WBHM, and we will be right back.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, Birmingham, Alabama.